Welcome everybody to an all-new reaction and review. Today guys, I'm going to be looking at a horror film from 2014. That movie is Leprechaun Origins. Now, let me explain a little bit when it comes to me and the Leprechaun franchise. I've seen every other film in the series except for this one. And this one is a reboot of the very original. And I actually had the first 3 Leprechaun movies right here. Now, when it comes to the Leprechaun franchise, there's about 7 in the original series, one of which just came out last year. And then this one is a remake, completely different than the others, because the others are more of horror comedies. They're more goofy and cheesy, and all-star Warwick Davis, with the exception being the last one, Leprechaun Returns, which was a totally different actor. This one, on the other hand, is supposed to be a straight horror flick, and it stars Hornswoggle from WWE as the Leprechaun. Now, I've wanted to watch this film for about almost 5 years now. I remember back in 2014, I watched a couple trailers for it. I can't really tell you much about those trailers. I barely remember fuck all of them, but let's see. You had the first Leprechaun movie, which was I loved. Second one kind of sucked. Third one was good. Fourth one was really cheesy because it was in space and the effects sucked, but it was still really cheesy, and I love cheesy movies. And you had Leprechaun in the Hood, which was just ridiculous. And you had Leprechaun Back to the Hood, which was equally ridiculous. And then Leprechaun Returns, which actually I watched a few weeks back and I fucking loved it. Now, when it comes to this one, I'm really interested in seeing what they decided to do with this film. I know it's made by WWE Studios, and I know it's a straightforward horror film. But that's as far as my knowledge goes. I know that a lot of people who are fans of the Leprechaun franchise, the originals, said that this movie was absolute garbage, and I've heard all these critics pan it for being cliche and unscary. But I myself have actually enjoyed a few movies that have been labeled the worst of all time. Like, I personally loved Howard the Duck, and a lot of people fucking hate that movie for being too ridiculously cheesy. But I really enjoyed it. The same could be said with That's My Boy with Adam Sandler. A lot of critics and people hated it for its dark and tasteless humor, but I absolutely loved it, and it's one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies. So, I'm going into this with an open mind. I'm honestly hoping it's good, because straightforward horror with a Leprechaun movie sounds very fascinating. So, this could go either way for me. I'm going in with an open mind, but the only way I'm going to find out if this movie's any good at all is if I shut the fuck up and I push play. And I'm going to do that right now. So without further ado, let's sit back, chill out, and watch Leprechaun Origins. Oh my god, the acting in this movie is just horrible. I mean, granted, but in all other Leprechaun movies, the acting's not the greatest, but this is dropping the bar to a whole new low. Holy fucking shit. Plus, this movie's been on 10 minutes already, and the story's not really going anywhere so far. I'm certainly hoping it's gonna pick up really quickly, but so far I'm not too impressed, guys. I just thought I'd share that. You know, guys, I'm just saying, if I'm just come to a village, go to a pub, and the first people I meet invite me to go stay with my friends in some fucking house in the middle of fucking nowhere, I'm not thinking I'm gonna go with them. But then again, that might just because these are some of the most fucking biggest dumbasses I've ever seen. And this movie's been on fucking almost 20 minutes, And it's an hour and a half, and I still have yet to see this fucking Leprechaun.
Did you hear that?
This movie better pick up soon, because so far I'm seriously getting irritated over here. Just saying, guys.
What is that?
You know, guys, I never thought I'd say this about a Leprechaun movie, but this movie's boring as shit, man. And that's a first. I've never heard myself say that about a Leprechaun movie. Some of them might have been cheesy and a little bit stupid, but they've never been boring, man. These guys are trying to build up a lot of tension. They're trying to act like this whole thing is scary, but it's really not, because these characters are a bunch of dumbasses, and I'm happy to see what's happen to them. And by the way, I still have yet to get a good look at this fucking Leprechaun. The best look I've got at is his fucking head. And this movie still has only an hour left. Something fucking interesting better happen pretty goddamn quickly, because so far this movie's just stupid as shit, man. It really is.
Was on the stone outside of town. That's it.
Okay, whoa. Time out. Time the fuck out. Let me see if I understand this correctly. So, these people in this village, these Irish people, will bring innocent outsiders to this goddamn cabin so that they can get feasted on by the Leprechaun, and the Leprechaun will leave them alone. That makes literally no sense whatsoever. And if that's the fucking Leprechaun in this movie that I just saw in that book, I'm gonna be choked, because that looks nothing like a fucking Leprechaun.
It wasn't a mine originally.
I'd just like for any of this movie to make fucking sense, but I don't think I'm gonna get it, because the writing here really fucking sucks. And I'm starting to fucking suffer a lot here, guys. I really am. So let me see if I understand this correctly. They run away from this fucking cabin. Those other two Irish fuckers are dead. Then they run into another chick from the pub they came from at the start of the movie. And she starts going the fucking way they came back from. And they're surprised that she locked them in the fucking car. Did you not hear them call you outsiders earlier? You didn't think she'd be one of them too?
It's your fault, not ours.
I really want to find the guy that wrote this movie, and I want to fucking punch him in the face, because these are some of the dumbest characters I've ever seen. And the shit is just so cliche, it's not even funny. Somebody please just fucking shoot that guy. That's it. That's the fucking Leprechaun in this movie. Are you fucking serious right now? It doesn't even look like a leprechaun. It looks like a fucking lizard. What the? Are you literally fucking kidding me right? I am fucking speechless. God damn it, you pieces of fucking shit. Whoever designed this leprechaun could go fuck himself. I'll get more into that later. Fuck you, Lucky Charms. Did they seriously just steal a line from the original movie? How fucking dare you, you sons of bitches. Fuck this movie. Well, guys, that was Leprechaun Origins. I wish I was fucking dead. Fuck off, movie. Okay. Wow. I don't even know why I'm laughing right now. Okay. Where the fuck to start with this? Well, for those people who tried saying that Leprechaun 4 in Space was the worst that this franchise has to offer, let me introduce Leprechaun Origins, because this movie was fucking awful. Now, let me explain a few things. When I think of the Leprechaun franchise, I think of Warwick Davis. Warwick Davis plays the Leprechaun in the first 6 installments of the franchise that came before this. And he was known for 2 things as the character. He had a habit of speaking in rhymes, which I really loved personally. I thought it was really cheesy and it always made me laugh when he did it. And he had this huge obsession with gold, in which he'd kill anybody to get his pot of gold. That was his big character thing. Well, except for in the 4th one, Leprechaun in Space, because he doesn't rhyme and he barely pays attention to his gold. But I'm not talking about Leprechaun 4, I'm talking about this film. And this film, it doesn't include any of that. I mean, it does include some sequences of gold, mostly at the bitter end when she throws it at him and says, "Fuck you, Lucky Charms." But the fucking Leprechaun in this movie, I have to say, was awful. It really stands out as probably the worst installment this franchise has ever seen. That mostly is because of the writing. The writing in this movie is one goddamn cliche after another. You got characters who are the biggest morons possible. They put themselves in the worst situations, and when they got the chance to actually be smart and get away from this creature, who barely looks scary, might I add, they choose to do the dumbest thing possible. The amount of times I saw somebody fall or trip in this movie, the amount of times that they go back to that goddamn cabin, the amount of times that they scream, "What the fuck is it? What the fuck is it?" is just so overdone that I almost felt like I was watching a movie from the fucking 80s. That's how cliche that this is. I felt like I was watching a Friday the 13th movie, because, bitch is always tripping. But that being said, this movie wasn't from the 80s or the 90s. This was made in 2014. And I don't want to hear that the budget on this thing was low, or they were working with a bad script. Because let me tell you something. The original Leprechaun movie came out in 1993. The fucking budget of that was less than $1 million. And that movie was still 3 times as fucking better as this garbage. So, I gotta fucking look up the guy who wrote the script of this movie, because he wrote the most cliche shit I have ever seen. The character is dumb as they come. They're the only likable characters I find in this movie personally are the people that live in that fucking village. You know why I find them more likable than our main fucking 4? That is because they are bent on letting this leprechaun feast on those 4 because they're outsiders. And you know why I like them for that? It's because I fucking didn't like any of these characters. They're morons, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Holy shit. But, yeah, no. And the way this movie ends on this little cliffhanger, and you can hear more leprechauns screaming as the final chick is running off into the distance. You hear more leprechauns. It's a cliffhanger that's supposed to end into a sequel, which I don't think will get ever made, and I'm glad it won't, because this movie was fucking awful. And if they made a sequel to this, I think I'd send WWE Studios a fucking angry letter. Which I might actually do anyway, because this movie is a fucking shame to this goddamn franchise. Now that I got that cliche bullshit script out of the fucking way, let's talk about acting. The acting in this movie, like I said at the beginning, was fucking awful. The four main characters, the only one I saw give a halfway decent performance was a guy, I'm pretty sure his name is Brendan Fletcher, and he played a role in Freddy vs. Jason, and I really enjoyed Freddy vs. Jason, and he was very good in that movie. That being said, he was one of the only actors in that group that was halfway convincing. The other three actors I don't think have ever acted before, because they just didn't fucking sound convincing at all. Their screams sounded like a child jumping into a ball pit at Chuck E. Cheese. That's how convincing their fucking screaming was. Oh, and the amount of times that those girls fell in this movie, these people, the amount of times they fell, it looked like they did it on purpose. I know they're supposed to do it on purpose because it's in the script, but I shouldn't think that you did it on purpose. That is pathetic, and you should be fucking ashamed of yourself. Fuck all of you. Now, the other villagers, the people that are trying to feed this group of kids to this leprechaun, I'll get to the leprechaun too, by the way, but the villagers, on the other hand, they spoke with Irish accents, which makes sense because they're in fucking Ireland, but they spoke with Irish accent, and they were more convincing. Basically, they just needed to feed outsiders to this evil-ass leprechaun so it didn't come back and kill everybody in that village. Doesn't make much sense when I come to think about it, because if you really, really fucking just didn't want to deal with that leprechaun, you could have just left Ireland, gone somewhere fucking else. But this guy, one of the characters' excuses are, when things are tough, you don't leave your fucking home. When there's something to fucking there to kill you, yeah, you do leave your fucking home. But there was one likable character in this fucking movie, and that was one of the villagers, the youngest son in this movie, that is the son of one of the fucking villagers that is trying to get these kids killed by this leprechaun. He is the only person in this movie that has any depth whatsoever. You know why? He seems to be the only one who has a fucking brain and says, well, this just seems fucked up. Why are we doing this? Why are we feeding these innocent people, these innocent fucking morons, to this goddamn creature? Wouldn't it make more sense if we fucking left this village? He's the only one in this movie that has fucking common sense. And truth be told, I don't even think I fucking saw what happened to him. They just fucking cut the guy's dad was getting eaten by the leprechaun, and it fucking cut, and it's back at this dumb bitch lead that's running off from the leprechaun. Speaking of this fucking leprechaun, Hornswoggle from WWE played this leprechaun. He was fucking awful. And he didn't even speak. But he was fucking awful. That might be because of the script, but he was truly awful. And the fact that he went out of his way to promote this movie, he should feel fucking ashamed for that, because he gave an awful fucking performance, and I despised the leprechaun in this movie. That might be because, like I stated in the fucking earlier in this video, he doesn't even look like a goddamn leprechaun. You know what? The best way I can describe this creature is, he looked like a fucking lizard had sex with Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Put those two together and you got this fucking leprechaun. You know how bad that is? And not only that, he doesn't speak. He lets out a bunch of growling and a bunch of noises, but he never once says a fucking word. Fucking god damn it. And no mention of him fucking loving gold at all. The only thing is that she threw gold at him for some reason. They never fucking gave me an explanation why. He never mentioned anything about fucking loving gold throughout this movie. Nobody said anything about gold in this movie. And if they did, I sure as fuck didn't hear it. Because I was getting pissed off at everything else going around it. But if gold is the weakness of the Leprechaun, then that is truly saying a lot, because in the fucking original films, nothing seemed to be able to fucking stop this Leprechaun. He got his, in the first movie, the Leprechaun got his hand cut off, and he screamed in pain, but then he walked it off and his hand kept moving. And this fucking Leprechaun got his head cut off, and that was it. That was the end of the Leprechaun. That would have never stood in the fucking original movie. And I just can't understand where they fucking went wrong with this movie. They could have honestly done a lot more with this movie. They could have made it straightforward horror. That's not the problem with this. They could have done it, but they didn't. They made it the biggest cliche horror movie I think I've ever fucking seen. And okay, what else? What else do I want to talk about here? Okay, special effects. Special effects are the one good thing I can say about this movie, because there are a lot of gross out shit in this movie that actually looks really nice. I mean, the Leprechaun's makeup. The Leprechaun doesn't look like a leprechaun, but its makeup looks really, really nice on it. I will admit that. And looks kind of freaking slimy and scaly and scabby. It looks like a fucking lizard, like I said. And while it may look slightly creepy-ish, it's still not that scary. But I will give a positive to that makeup effects. Oh, another one. During the beginning, when the Leprechaun first starts popping up, and it takes a chunk out of one of the character's legs, and you get a close-up of the leg, it looks pretty decent. It looks gross. I mean, I really preferred if there had been a bit more blood, because the fact that there was barely any blood didn't make any fucking sense. You think he took a chunk out of your goddamn leg, you'd think you'd be bleeding all over the place. But I don't know, maybe I'm the only fucking person who sees this film. The director clearly didn't have any fucking common sense when he fucking was directing this movie. Whatever the fuck his name is. What else for special effects would I like to comment on? One of the characters gets a chunk bit out of their neck and they bleed to death. That looked alright. But I really need to fucking comment on the camera work in this movie, because the camera work was all fucking over the place, man. Some scenes when the characters are running away, it's just so wobbly and fucking shaky that you can barely see half the shit going on. Plus, the picture in this movie is so dark, you could barely see half of the shit going on in this movie. And I know it's not the fucking computer, because I had the brightness turned on all the way, and it still didn't help. The whole fucking screen was basically black other than a few parts that had light in it. That's another problem. I could barely see the Leprechaun in certain aspects because the fucking thing was so dark. And that's why it took forever for me to get an actually decent good look at him. And even when I did, it was still not good enough because I could still barely see his fucking face. And even when it's not nighttime in this movie and you can, it's clearly daytime and you can see it, it has this depression-ass fucking image to it. It looks depressing as hell. Fits the tone of this movie because this movie depressing. But the picture in this movie just looks really, really shitty. And once again, I don't want to hear fucking somebody tell me that this movie had a low budget because it was made in 2014. And I don't give a shit if you had a low budget. You could have done fucking hell of a lot more with this goddamn picture. Fucking Christ. Is there anything else I want to fucking mention? No, I think that about sums it up. So, when all is said and done, Am I able to recommend Leprechaun Origins? No. Guys, this was the worst Leprechaun movie I've ever fucking seen. And the makers of this movie should feel ashamed. You made a pile of shit, and you are fucking terrible people. And I just don't even know what to say to you. The best way I can describe this, Leprechaun 4 in Space was the shittiest of the series, and I'd rather watch that all fucking day for a week than watch this piece of shit again. Now, I think that I should probably watch one of the fucking first six. Maybe even the newest one from 2018. By the way, the newest one from 2018 is a fucking TV movie. And it still is a hell of a lot better than this. And it doesn't even have Warwick Davis in it. And that Leprechaun was still fucking better in the newest one than the one in this one. So, yeah, this movie could go fuck itself. That's all I really gotta say. With that, we come to a close of another reaction and review. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. Till next time, guys, I will see you again later. Please like, subscribe, and if you want to see me watch a movie and review and react to it, comment it below. Till then, guys, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.